grown-up artist who tried to paint like kids. What do you think about that?
Hey everybody! Long time no see. It's me, Mr. Zeichner, your old art teacher, and we're here together finally through the computer for our remote art class. Every Thursday we'll be doing this, and it's a new thing, and it's kind of exciting and fun. I hope you're well. I hope you're keeping busy and entertained and keep learning stuff. We're going to pick up where we were, I think about half of you had started a project with me, and we're going to just continue that this way now. We started doing a project, those of you who we didn't start with, we started doing a project where we were talking about artists, grown-up artists, who went to art school and learned how to draw details and realistic pictures. And then when they grew up, they looked back and they looked at the art that little kids draw. And they thought, hey, that's what I want to learn how to do. I forgot how to draw like a little kid. So instead of drawing more and more realistically, they decided to go back and draw more like a little kid, maybe a kid your age or even younger than you. So I just think that's the funniest thing, because here, kids like you are probably trying to learn skills. You see what grown-ups can do and think, hey, I want to try to learn how to do some of that. And these grown-ups went backwards and wanted to draw more like you. So let's look at a few of those, okay? A very famous artist who loved the art of children was Pablo Picasso. And here's a painting that he did. It's a self-portrait that he painted from looking in a mirror. He did this when he was only 15 years old. He used to say that he could draw like an old master when he was a child, but it took him his whole life to learn how to draw like a child. Now here's a painting that Picasso made, another self-portrait that he made when he was much older. And look at how much his style changed. Do you think this looks a little bit like the way a kid might do a self-portrait? Another artist who loved the art of children was Paul Klee. And his paintings are a little bit abstract sometimes, which means they don't look that real, and it might sometimes be a little hard to tell what he's painting. A lot of his paintings have interesting titles. This painting is called The Red Balloon. Does that seem like the kind of thing a young kid might try to do? Here's another Paul Klee painting called The Cat and the Bird. Sometimes his pictures are a little bit funny and they tell a story. Where is that bird? What's going on here? What kind of story is he telling here? This painting is called The Twittering Machine. What in the world is a twittering machine? Twittering is a sound that a bird makes. What kind of machine does that? Now, do you think he did a good job of imitating the way children draw in this picture? Can you tell a grown-up did this? Or would you believe me if I told you, hey, a little 4-year-old kid painted this? This painting is a little more abstract. It's a little hard to tell what's going on. It's called The Captive, which is like a prisoner. So how do you think he tried to show the idea of someone who's in prison or jail? Can you see a person in there? Can you see anything that looks like a jail? Now, one thing that Paul Klee was very interested in was using different kinds of art materials. So he would paint on, this looks like some rough old bag that they pack potatoes in, and he would mix different kinds of paints together and sometimes draw and paint also in the same picture. He really wanted to be very free and playful, and maybe that was one of the reasons why he liked children's art so much. Let's look at one more picture. This one is by an artist named Joan Miro this time, and he was another artist who was inspired or loved children's art. And this painting is called Dog Barking at the Moon. And this is a funny looking dog, isn't it? That looks like something a little kid might draw. There's one thing about this picture that gives it away for me. And some of you, when we were talking about this in class, recognized it. There's something that not too many kids will do. If you look at the way the dog is on the ground, do you see how he's overlapping this ground and this ladder, this interesting ladder? Can you see the way that's overlapping? Do really young kids do that? I don't know. So here's what we're going to do. Some of you know this and some of you didn't hear the game yet. It's a game, or you could call it an experiment, like a science experiment, where we're going to see what real kids' art looks like and compare it to grown-ups who like to imitate kids. I'm going to give you some titles, some names of pictures that were made by Paul Klee and one by Joan Moreau. And I'm not going to show you their pictures. I'm just going to let you see what the titles were, the names of the pictures. You are going to pick two pictures, pick two titles, and make your own pictures for those titles. You can use whatever you've got around the house. If you only have pencils, you could use pencil and paper. If you've got colored pencils or paints or crayons, whatever you want to use for this. And you'll do your own pictures that will go with the titles that you like. And then we will compare your work with the artist's work. I think if any of the parents are watching this, we could throw in another little twist to this. What if the parents also make some pictures from a couple of these titles, and the parents try to imitate the way they think a little kid draws? And we can post these pictures and see if anyone can tell the difference between the grown-up art and the kid art. It's a little bit of a crazy experiment, but I think it would be a fun way to use this remote computer learning setup. Okay, so here are the titles. A Young Lady's Adventure, Fish Magic, Dream City, Sun Eater, and Elves. Those are all by Paul Klee. Those are all pictures by Paul Klee, except for the Sun Eater. That title was so good I had to throw that in. But we're not going to look at their art. And please, I know you all have the internet right at your fingertips. Don't look it up. Let's make this a fun surprise. When we're done, when everyone's done with their pictures, then we can then look at the artist's work and compare them. Okay, guys, so I'm looking forward to seeing what you do with this. And parents, if you want to jump in, that would be great too. Bye.